Evening, welcome to the Derby debrief from RamsTV. Owen Bradley with former Derby defender Shaun alongside. After a goalless draw at Bolton that has seen Derby move back into the League One playoff places, they would have gone fourth with a victory this afternoon. It's a game that could have gone either way. Derby hit the crossbar. Bolton had a chance right at the death to maybe snatch it, but a goalless draw is what is settled at the end. You'll hear from manager Paul Warne shortly. Aaron Cashin's thoughts coming up on the result as well. Start with a word from Shaun. As always, a good game, even though not a lot of actual goalmouth action happened in the end. How did you see it all?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game. Full 90 minutes. There was great energy, intensity of the game. It was quite frantic. I think the pitch played a big part of that in terms of the surface and how it zipped around. Neither team really kind of gained full control of the game, and that's why it was backwards and forwards that little bit. The first half was great kind of energy and endeavour, but lacked that killer instinct in front of goal in terms of the final pass or decision. And as the game progressed, there were few openings that maybe players should have done a little bit better. But I think a 0-0 was a fair result. Both the defences came out on top. I thought our back four were excellent. Lewis Sibley had a tough test on that left-hand side, and he dealt with it really well. Smith was steady, and the two centre-halves were exceptional.
And more from Box in a moment or two. Derby extending their unbeaten run in the league to 9. Let's hear from the head coach, Paul Warne.
Paul, another point on the board, another game unbeaten. What's your thoughts after that?
A little bit bittersweet. I mean, we could have lost it in the last kick of the game, but I also thought we had enough opportunities to probably win it. But maybe I'm greedy. But yeah, the lads are disappointed they haven't took all three. We come away from home to a team who are, further down the process than us, are building a League One team. Will fancy themselves to be in the playoffs, and I thought in periods of the game we were in the ascendancy. Although it was difficult to create chances. The pitch was really lively, wet. I think both teams struggled to play a little bit, so it was a bit ugly at times. But overall pleased. I just thought off a couple of set pieces we had a great chance with 90, a great chance with Colo. On another day we might nick a 1-0 away from home, but all in all, another clean sheet. Really pleased with the back line and Joe. I think they've defended really well.
Is it another one of those afternoons where the old cliche, if you can't win, make sure you don't lose?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't come here, as you well know, I can't bear drawing, so we came here with a real intent to come and win the game, and hence why the lads are possibly disappointed. But it was two good teams having a go. Obviously I really appreciate the vocal support. That is something else. So we didn't lose, but like you say, the last kick of the game we could have, and that would have felt a little bit harsh.
How good a save did you feel that was? It was hard to see because I was stood in the tunnel just behind you guys, but it looked great reactions again from Joe, who's been phenomenal all season.
He has, but I think I'd have saved that as straight at him, wasn't it? Was it not straight at him?
That's why I was asking you straight down the tunnel. But
it wasn't amazing.
He's there to make saves, isn't he?
Yeah, he does get paid, so he did come straight at him. But yeah, another day he dies and it goes down the middle, I'll go crazy. But yeah, a clean sheet from him when called upon. He's been brilliant since we've been in the building. I've been so impressed. So really pleased.
No David McGoldrick today. What's the situation with him at the moment?
Yeah, he's been ill, unfortunately, for 4 days. Felt better today. The first day he's really felt anything like. So we're in the morning training. So we'll try and get him on the grass and see how he is to try and get him, for the game against Cambridge.
Is he the sort of individual you maybe missed at times today? We've seen it in games so far where he can maybe just unlock that little bit with that little bit of magic that maybe others don't have.
Yeah, possibly. It's a good question. Possibly, or the game could have completely bypassed him because it was, a tad rough around the edges at times. But I thought Colo led the line really well, and 90 was excellent. It's like I've got a love affair going on with 90, but he just gets around the pitch, wins headers, a threat, and like I said, he could have scored as well. So really good to have him back. So yeah, Didsy's probably the one who can unlock the door in them tight games. So it's a blow, and no doubt if you interviewed their manager, he was buzzing when he saw he wasn't on the team sheet.
You mentioned James Collins there. He could have had a penalty the second half. I think you mentioned in the Sky interview it probably would have been soft. But what about the one with Tom Barkhuizen in the first half? What's your thoughts on that one? Clean.
It blows my mind. If I mean, I sort of politely spoke to the ref at half time. He said, "Oh, if I'd have given that, I'd have to give the one the other end a minute later." I said, "I don't care about the one up the other end a minute later. You can't. The old two wrongs make a right trick." I thought it was a penalty, but then I'm biased, so I haven't seen it back. I just don't understand. I just don't understand how that isn't a foul. The ball went that way, the player came this way, and Tom absolutely got flattened. If it isn't a foul, then I apologise profusely, but from where I stood, it looked as blatant as it gets.
We started the interview by saying another game unbeaten. That's 13 now. You really are becoming a difficult side to break down. You must be encouraged by that.
Yeah, because I think we do. Every time we get the ball, we are trying to score. We are aggressive with our play, I think, and if you play that way, you're always susceptible to losing, obviously. But draws aren't going to get us where we want to be. We want wins, but away from home, especially if we can now go, back-to-back home wins, this point looks even sweeter, doesn't it? But I just thought first half at times where we won the ball back, and our tactics were to get out to Tom and out to Nat and leave them 1v1. You back them respectfully against their wide centre halves. That just the tidy up pass at times just wasn't good enough, and I just think if we'd have just been that little bit crisper, we could have hurt them and we could have come away with all three. But not being greedy.
Derby's head coach Paul Warner, I think, was probably frustrated more than anything there. But one thing to pick up straight away, he thought Derby should have had a penalty in the first half, the challenge on Tom Barkhazen, and I think you agree with him.
Yeah, there was no doubt it was a foul. The only question is whether or not it was in the box, but my first thought was it's a clear foul. Barkhazen had a brilliant touch just to set it towards goal, and at that point it was a race between him and the centre half. Now you see the position the ball goes afterwards. Barkhazen gets a touch, a tiny touch in front, and as soon as the defender comes across and bumps into him, it's a foul. It's clear as day. It's just whether or not it was in the box. I thought it was a penalty instantly. I can't believe the referee didn't give anything at all.
Derby, as the head coach was talking about there, just lacking a little bit at times in that game. They did create some chances. They did put some pressure on, but they just never tested the goalkeeper enough.
They didn't, and he mentions there trying to get the ball to Tom and to Mendes Lang. Those wide areas, if you're playing against the back three and you've got pace out wide and you've got players that can beat defenders in a 1v1, you have to try and isolate them in those areas. A couple of times we had the break in that first half, and it looked like there was it just needed that final pass or that final decision to unlock the back three of Bolton, and we didn't do that. The second half we applied pressure. I thought it was a backwards and forwards. I thought Bolton played some decent stuff getting up to that final third, but lacked that little bit of quality as well. So it wasn't just Derby. It was a frantic game. It was an enjoyable game to watch, but both teams didn't have that extra little bit of quality in the final third. And it's a good point about Didzy being missed, because he's that kind of player that when it's quiet, when there's no real quality on show, when there's opportunities but you need someone to make the most of them, he's that type of player that can unlock the defence. So we missed him. Great to see 90 back. We know that one is a big fan of his with his energy and his effort around the pitch. But again, I want to point out the back four and Joe. Joe had very little to do today, and that was based on the back four performing so well. Sibbs at left back, he was getting better and better in that position. Smith never seems to put a foot wrong at full back. And I thought it was going to be a long afternoon for Fozzie, especially in the first 10 minutes where the two strikers looked bright, he got booked. But as the game went on, him and Cash patrolled the area so well and thoroughly deserved the clean sheet. Yeah,
and the saves that Joe Wildsmith had to make, Paul once saying there another day maybe dives out the way of one and it goes in and he's tearing his hair out. But there wasn't anything there that you would take your hat off and say that's a top-notch save. And is that to do with the work of the players in front of him more than anything?
Yeah, routine saves for him. What he did do is come off his line a couple of times in that first half just to assure the back four that he's engaged with the game. He understands that he needs to be in those positions at time with the pace that they might have to stretch the pitch. But routine saves for Joe, and I think that goes with how well those boys in front did, because again, Bolton worked into good positions. They looked bright in one and two touch passing and got creative players and players that can win you games. They're limited to very few chances. So yes, he's a little bit disappointed. The manager thinks they could have been a little bit better. I think if you ask Ian Everett the same thing, I think he'll say that they lack that killer edge, that little bit of quality in the final third. So for me, it was an entertaining 0-0. It was two sides going at it. both sides lacked that little bit of kind of quality in that final third, and ultimately a 0-0 I think was the fair result.
Let's get some more reaction from the Derby camp. Here is Erin Cashin.
Cash, a draw today, how do you look back on that?
A little bit frustrated, obviously. I think we could have got 3 points and that was the aim, obviously, but on the flip side of that, I think, positive is that, we kept another clean sheet and we kept that unbeaten run going. I think it's 13 now, so a bit of mixed emotions, and obviously we're more frustrated that we could have gone and got 3 points, but we've got 2 games coming up in quick succession, so hopefully we can put it right then.
Another clean sheet against another side who are up there like Sheffield Wednesday and like Portsmouth, so even though you're not winning these games, you must take heart from the fact that they're not scoring against you.
Yeah, exactly, and I think good teams, sometimes they're going to get chances, and they had chances today, but I think we defended well as a team, and especially last bit when it turned into a little bit of a basketball match where it's end to end. I think the back four and the midfield and even the wingers and striker, doing the jobs, digging in for the team to keep that clean sheet. But yeah, just a little bit frustrated that we couldn't get all 3.
A day like that with the rain pouring down, a player like yourself, an old-fashioned kind of player, is probably the one that you like, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind it, but I don't mind all that. The conditions and stuff, it's a bit of me. I felt more comfortable than when it's when it's hot and in the summer. So yeah, I enjoyed it. But like I say, we battled well, and just that little bit of quality in the final third. Maybe that. I mean, there were some good deliveries in from Connor and Barks and stuff. It's just, and we got on a few set pieces as well. Knight's got on a few, Collar's got on a few. Just unfortunate not to get on the end of it and get in and score. So.
Do you think that's the key? Just that little bit of quality in the final third is what will turn these draws into wins?
Maybe just that little bit of composure. But like I say, I can't fault what Collar and the attackers are doing, because they're giving it everything going forwards, and then they're helping us out in defence. So I can't fault their attitude and all the hard work they're doing. It's just that maybe that little bit of luck that we just haven't quite got today. But obviously we've got two games coming up in quick succession, like I say. So we'll put it right then.
Fans have been brilliant again, haven't they? Turned out over 5,000 and made the trip up here.
Yeah, it's unreal. Honestly, walking out, you couldn't really hear the Bolton fans. It was just all Derby, and it's unreal. Especially when you're kicking towards them, and you can hear them, and they're getting up for it, and it really spurs us on. Just a little bit disappointed that we couldn't give them something properly to cheer about, but like I say, we'll put that right.
Well, there is Erin Cashin. Here's the League One table then after the Boxing Day round of fixtures, including today. Plymouth still leading from Ipswich. Sheffield Wednesday making it a 3-horse race going into the second half of the season for the automatic promotion places. Derby back into the top 6 at Wycombe's expense after the draw at Bolton today. Pretty tight between Barnsley, Bolton, Derby. Wycombe, Peterborough have just dropped off the pace a little bit now as well. At the bottom, Morecambe nearly side really adrift. Wins yesterday for Burton and for MK Dons, who changed their manager last week, making things interesting. Derby's next 2 games are the 2 sides just above the bottom 4, Cambridge on Friday and then Accrington in the new year. That's all from us for now. If you want more reaction, it's on the website for you, dcfc.co.uk. Goodbye from me, Barks and the team.